Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a video on a very simple subject. It's going to be a quick, probably 8-9 minute video at the max on how to adjust your steering stops on a Jeep TJ. This is probably going to hold true for most YJs, XJs, definitely XJs, ZJs, WJs, anything that uses a Dan 30 straight front axle. These Jeeps are very similar. They all use the same type of steering box. They all have the steering stops being a physical stop as far as how far they can turn, as opposed to a hydraulic stop inside the steering gear itself. So let's take a look. Be a quick video. Guys, stick around. Especially long arm lifts that change control arm angles, you will run into an issue where your tire, as you turn, the back side of the tire will go too far in and will either hit the frame or control arm. On these Jeeps, it's generally this control arm that would normally mount right here and go straight to your axle. There's a few ways to fix this. If you go to a long arm like mine, some companies make a bend in their arms to dodge that. Probably the most common way is to space your tire out further. You do that by getting rims with different back spacing, and or just put spacers, hub-centric spacers on the actual axle itself. There's no perfect way to fix it, but you can also fix it the way I'm going to fix it today, which is pretty common. So I'm not quite full lock on one turn. You can see how close back there the control arm is to the tire. It's about an inch away. So the way these front axles on TJs and most Jeeps work is they limit your steering not through steering stops in the actual box itself. They limit your steering right here. So if you see this bolt, this is a steering stop bolt. As you turn, it will eventually make contact with this part of the C right here. When it makes contact, it stops the tire from turning in that direction. There's another one on the other side that does the same. So that's the adjustment we'll make to stop this from happening. You can see it's a bolt. It's just screwed into the knuckle here. I've already loosened this one, so I'll unscrew it real quick. As you can see, it's just a bolt with a welded on nut at a set distance. That's going to be the distance set from factory. And all you have to do is space that out a little bit to keep it from turning as far that way or that way, depending on which side you do. I would suggest doing both the same distance on both sides so you don't have any variance in your turning. The best way to space these out is to simply put a washer underneath this nut and then tighten everything back down. So what you're going to need is a myriad of washers. Those aren't the right size. You'll want to, I believe this is a 9/16. And you can trial and error this with different size washers. Or you can just back this off, trial and error it, and then measure the gap between this and the actual C, and then get a washer that size or a spacer. These are lock nuts, lock washers. You don't have to have a lock washer. These are just a washer that size that I happen to have available. I'll probably use this flat washer first. If that's not thick enough, I'll go to the combination of the lock and the flat, and when I tighten it down tight, it'll flatten that all the way down. Again, this doesn't have any pressure on it. This doesn't form any structural function, so it's not going to loosen up once you tighten it down, especially with these fine threads. So you don't have to have a lock washer. All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this washer on, get in it, crank it up, turn all the way to the left, try to back out of my driveway and see if it scrubs. If it doesn't, I know that's thick enough. If it does, I'm going to put both of them on, then we'll try it again. If you have two people, it's a lot easier. Okay. All right, so that solved it. This side did not rub at full lock. However, you want to make sure that you check where the rub is. So luckily mine is right on the center line of the wheel going across to my control arm. That means that the meatiest part when the Jeep is flat is what's rubbing. If it was rubbing with the control arm way up here or on a piece down here, then you're going to want to check your articulation, because this fattest part of the tire is what's going to cause the most rub. If it's rubbing when this is articulated down or up, you're going to have to replicate that when you test for fitment. you might just want to jack the Jeep up and spin the tire and see. But now I'll do this side. I'll do the same test to make sure, and that potentially fix my issue. All right guys, after making sure they're both tight and getting another couple rounds on this one over here, it does still scrub. So I'm going to back them both out. I'm going to go ahead and put the lock washer behind them, and that should space them out just enough. I rounded them to get them tight. I put about another 1.5 to 2 rounds on each one, and those are pretty thin threads. So those other lock washers should do the trick. Ow! Ooh. That's what it looks like when you got it done. You can see there's just 2 washers underneath that one bolt, and it just tightens right up. All right, let's try this again. All right guys, there it was. It took me 10 minutes to fix my scrubbing issue. I didn't have to unbolt really anything, just 2 little bolts and add some washers. Anytime you lift a vehicle and get bigger tires and things like that, you're going to make concessions somewhere. I made a concession on a fraction of steering radius as opposed to spacing the tires out further, potentially putting more stress on ball joints. I'm not saying it's the right choice, but it's the choice I made because it literally cost me 5 cents in 10 minutes. Hopefully that allows you to make wise decisions on your Jeep. Time for me to run to the parts store to get a boot for that tie rod we saw. Guys, I hope this video helped you out. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. More videos coming soon. We'll do some Corvette stuff. I'm still going to do the front locker here very shortly. So guys, stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.